We are coming on the air right now with breaking news because the U.S. Capitol has been placed on lockdown.
What was supposed to be a routine congressional transaction on Wednesday turned into chaos in the nation's capital. Shocking photos and images coming from inside federal buildings, where dozens of people have rushed past police and security to stage a takeover.
And if you look up here onto the inauguration stage, you can see there's a large number of people. We've watched them climb up the scaffolding to get up there.
Celebrities are making their voices heard, with some just a few short words. Issa Rae tweeted, "Truly disgusted." Chris Evans tweeted, "I'm speechless." And Ashton Kutcher tweeted, "Support the peaceful transition of power. That's being a patriot." In the middle of today's scheduled electoral count certification, initially overseen by Vice President Mike Pence, violence erupted outside of the Capitol building and soon developed into a takeover of the congressional buildings.
While the U.S. Capitol Police is very experienced, D.C. Police, of course, extremely experienced with big protests, they don't have much experience dealing with something like this, where protesters have really gotten inside a government building.
There was an evacuation for everyone inside via underground tunnels, including Vice President Pence and members of Congress. What happened? Celebs on social media are pointing directly to President Trump and his gathered supporters.
It would be really great if we could be covered fairly by the media. The media is the biggest problem we have as far as I'm concerned.
The trespassers seemingly spawned from a President Trump rally earlier that day, an event focused on protesting Congress certifying the electoral count from the 2020 presidential election, which President Trump has continued to discredit with baseless claims of voter fraud.
We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
These statements are now being credited for inciting the unlawful takeover of these federal buildings, with many calling for the president's impeachment. Jonathan Van Ness took to Instagram, writing, "Trump still has 2 weeks left. He must be impeached immediately." Several people are highlighting last year's Black Lives Matter protests, which were heavily criticized by many in President Trump's administration, including the president himself. Cardi B tweeted, "The irony is pretty funny. Weren't people just wild animals in the summer for demanding justice, and now?" Chris Evans followed up his earlier message with, "Just think of the carnage had they not been white." Dwayne Wade tweeted, "Black people get pulled over and don't make it out alive. We can't sleep in our own beds without being killed. We can't jog without being killed. We can't walk down the street with our hoodies up without being killed. But they can do this?" In reference to a report that the National Guard will not be deployed, Gabrielle Union tweeted, "Wonder why? Oh yeah, right. We know why." The lack of support from the National Guard was another major topic on social media. Yvette Nicole Brown tweeted, "He incited this riot and now won't allow the National Guard to quell it. Realize what is happening in our nation right now."
At this hour, our democracy is under an unprecedented assault.
Later in the day, President-elect Joe Biden specifically called out President Trump's lack of action and called Wednesday's events a god-awful display, saying it's not a reflection of American values.
The scenes of chaos at the Capitol do not reflect a true America, do not represent who we are. What we're seeing are a small number of extremists.
President Trump later tweeted this video reaction, saying everyone who took part in the day's events is, quote, "very special."
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace.